As we go towards the formation of our government in exile, and as VVZ Varanda Zimbabwe, we will have one seat on that government in exile. We need to clarify a few things. We're getting a lot of inquiries. So there's two things that are currently happening in the background. First and foremost, we're opening an NPO. That process is in line and it should come out within the next couple of weeks. Once that happens, we will then be able to open a bank account, which will then be able to start receiving donations. Once that happens, we will notify everybody and go from there. However, the other two things that are happening is, one, is a list of questionnaires that we will give to people who want to join VVZ at level 4 and 5, which is basically volunteer and leadership levels. So we're busy with that document. In that document contains principles and ethics. And that's what we need to talk about a bit, but the difference between the ethics and the principles. So the second thing that we are doing is a partnership agreement for the government in exile. So as a government in exile, people would want to join, and we need to publish a partnership agreement. So we are busy with that. These are short documents, nothing fancy, as you know from the videos. We don't use the Queen's English on a day-to-day basis. Now, the people that we as Zimbabweans, who we are looking at to save us from this regime, are people that are ethically compromised. Now, I'm going to give a few examples. As a minister, you are allowed a vehicle. You need a vehicle to accomplish what you need to do. As a government dignitary, you have to stay in hotels now and then on government business. As a government dignitary, you have to fly perhaps to different countries. This is all part of your job. So the rules and the law states that you have to have a car, and you have to fly in an aeroplane, and you have to stay at a hotel. But ethically, what is ethically correct? If kana muchigara munyika yakafanana neZimbabwe, uchiziva kuti vana vari kudzidza pasi pemuti, if you know that children at school don't have classrooms and don't have toilets, would it be ethically correct for the Minister of Housing, or Minister of Education, to drive a car that is valued at $150,000? Would it be ethical for the Minister of Health to fly first class when there's no drugs or injections or gloves in hospitals? Is that ethically sound? You see, the problem we have in Zimbabwe is we are looking at political leaders that have been given a chance in the GNU. They've been given a chance in city and councils and stuff like that. And they have been found to be ethically wanting. There's a big difference between the rule of law and actual justice. Please understand this very basic fact. Law is not justice. We need to change the system, not the players in the system. And that is what the government in exile plans to do. And that is the basis of VVZ. Varanda Zimbabwe, VVZ was formed to change the system. Kwete kungopinda musystem togara tichidya musystem aiwa. Hazviziri zvatakafoma VVZ. So what we are saying is, the people that were given a chance in the GNU, did they accept a Mercedes-Benz as their ministerial car? Yes, they did. Did they accept a car perhaps for their spouse? Did they accept free electricity? Did they accept staying in five-star hotels? Did they accept all the perks that come with being a minister? Yes, they did. The problem is Zimbabwe is a poor country. We don't have money for schools. We don't have money for education. We don't have money for medical health care. But the ministers have money for nice cars. The ministers also have money to have nice travel arrangements. The ministers also have money to have nice hotel visits. But at the same time, the minister says we don't have money. So you see, Varandere Zimbabwe, you have to look at a person when they are in office and see what kind of person are they. Because munhu wese anogona kutaura parally kuti yes tichabatsira vanhu tichadai. But look at how they act once they are in office. Look at the current opposition leadership. We had an opposition leader who arrived at a rally in a convoy trying to be exactly like the regime leader. Why? If the Zimbabwe opposition had won an election, they would have acted in exactly the same manner as the current regime, 100%. Why are we not giving people title deeds for their land? Because we want to control them. And the opposition would have done exactly the same thing. The issue, Varandere Zimbabwe, is that we have to stop supporting people who have shown us that they do not care about the average citizen. And this is throughout Africa and SADC as a whole. Even in South Africa, we have blue light brigades in South Africa. When children in the Eastern Cape are using pit toilets, and yet you vote for these same leaders. Varandere Zimbabwe, the issue is that the voter must wake up. The voter has to have some sort of reasoning ability to see what is a good leader and what is a bad leader, and to know the difference between those two things. So Varandere Zimbabwe, when the government in exile is formed, and it will be formed, because another thing that we must understand now, we are no longer debating participation in elections. We are no longer debating approaching SADC or AU. We are no longer debating kuti toenda ku court here, tomboenda ku constitutional court here, tomboenda ku SADC kunokumbira kuti vauye, tombonodai. The sitting regime in Zimbabwe has now appointed another 10 senators from that Constitutional Amendment Act. The Constitutional Amendment Act is illegal, but they've done it anyway. To extend a sitting president's term is illegal according to the Constitution, but they have done it anyway. People held up a placard to say no to cab 3 and they were arrested. That's not constitutional, but they have done it anyway. Varandere Zimbabwe, the bottom line here is the regime is showing us kuti there is no longer a political way forward. Vari kutiratidza kuti zvepolitics zvarova madziro. So, the debate now is not about any of those things. If you are in a political party, if you are in an organization, if you are in an NGO, if you are in any of these organizations and your leadership is talking about participating in elections or going to court or got warasika, budai momo, warasika urukushandiswa, what is now being discussed by real opposition activists in Zimbabwe is a government in exile and the formation of it. That is the topic going forward. How do we have an alternative government from Zimbabwe in exile? That's it. That's the conversation. How do we formulate and put that together? Question 1. 2, once that has been formulated and put together, how do we initiate a people's revolution to remove the regime? Ndozvinhu chete zvinofanirwa kutaurwa muopposition yeZimbabwe. Zvimwe zvese zvinotenderedza ipapo kunetsana. Kunetsana, kuwesterwa nguva, haya hazvina kana basa. So we will not entertain discussions of any other thought. We are not asking permission to form a government in exile. We are not asking permission. We are telling you, we don't need permission from an illegal government. From this day forward, and we will announce it when the government in exile has been put in place, we do not recognize the regime of Zimbabwe. We do not. That is not our government. That is a bunch of mafia military cartel people. That is not a government of Zimbabwe by Zimbabweans. We do not recognize them. In my personal capacity, I do not recognize them. I encourage you, fellow Zimbabweans, to not recognize that government. That is an illegal government. And we are going to come up with things that we will put on the ground in Zimbabwe, and we will put it on social media. As soon as our NPO is formed, we will have the funding to start a few small programs, and that is what we are going to do. Sakavaranda Zimbabwe, look out for those 2 documents that are coming. One is for VVZ, the other one is for the government in exile. I will be putting them on the Facebook page. We will open our WhatsApp groups shortly, probably within the next week or 2, and then we will start putting out those things. But we cannot start something tisati tavane munhu anenge akamirira ma messages nema emails. Saka ndo zvatiri kuita. Tiri kutsvaga munhu anoshanda muoffice, tiri kutsvaga mari inobhadhara kaoffice kadiki. And that's our main point at this time. Saka varanda Zimbabwe, just remember, do not recognize the illegal government that is currently in place in Zimbabwe. That is not a people's government. That is not a government that is chosen by the people. If you are an investor in Zimbabwe, if you are someone who wants to go on holiday in Zimbabwe, just remember, you are propping up a regime that the people did not support, did not vote for, a regime that has unconstitutionally increased its term limits, a regime that unconstitutionally arrests people for the free right to demonstrate and congregate together. That regime is what you are supporting at this time. Varanda Zimbabwe, muita zora kana.
Zvinorwadza zvinosirisa muri yeZimbabwe ndizvo zviri kuitika munyika medu. Isusu seZimu Media tiripo pakutsvagira nyaya. Tinouya nenyaya semaonera tinenge tadziita, hatina chatinowedzera kana kutapudza. So don't forget to subscribe to our channel, like, comment and share. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell. Kuitira next time patino upload a video, unoita wekutanga kusangana naro. Thank you so much for watching our video. For that, I am signing out.